Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and it's about a week since our last deck recommendation video, and I thought we'd give you some up-to-date deck lists in both Standard or Wild that you can expect to climb with, whether it's getting to Silver, Gold, Platinum, Diamond, or Legend. I think I got like 14 Standard decks this time around, 5 Wild decks, and if you enjoy the content on the channel, feel like I've earned your subscription, please hit that sub button down below, give the video a like, it helps out a lot as we're on the road to 85,000 subscribers. And I did want to ask you guys, I thought about making this a weekly video, deck recommendations, maybe every Saturday, other than patch day weeks, where I'll have it 2 days after that patch, where we just normally update deck lists, because I always notice those videos do pretty well, and maybe just something to throw out there every week. Let me know if that's too much, or just keep it to like every patch and then like a week after a major patch. But regardless, I'd like to hear you guys' take on it. Anyways, starting off, we have deck for pretty much every class, except I don't think I have a warrior or hunter. I think those are the two classes I am not going to recommend. They're just not doing amazing. Obviously, Tempo Druid, Dragon Druid, whatever you want to call it, one of the best decks on ladder, if not the best. Getting your ramp early, whether it's your gift, your whelp, your new heights, and then just getting into your insane curve of, you know, Nest Matron into Flower Child Doomkin and your late game of Marin, Yogg, Fi, Eonar, Ziliax, which is twin module, perfect module, insanely good deck. And sometimes you just like don't let your opponent have mana with Doomkins and, you know, your Dorian sticking around. It's gross. People are sick of it. I expect this deck to get nerfed the next balance patch yet again. You know, Chia Drake could lose another health or something, but regardless, super strong deck still. Concierge Druid, the second most popular Druid deck, still very good. Went from a tier 2 deck to a tier 2 deck, but not as prevalent in the meta, but certainly very much a thing with Concierge discounting all these 1 mana spells to 0, get spell damage, get more chalices with Pupil, hurt your opponent, and you have the Dragon package in there to ramp, to draw, give you more spell damage, to heal up. Very effective deck. Not as good as it was before the patch, but still really frustrating and still a good deck. Still like highly recommended to climb with. It is definitely a strong one, just not the best Druid deck anymore. The craziness, the insanity of it all. And yes, Insanity Warlock, again, one of the best decks on the ladder, all over Masters Tour. It's super good with your early game of like, you got 1-drops like Party Fiend, Miracle Salesman. You can just like Baritone Imp, and get giant Craze Conductor turns. And then when you transition into the later game, you know, like turns 5 and 6, you got like your Gem Tossers, you got your Crescendos, you can get even more of them with Pupil and Fizzle and just deal insane amount of damage, especially when you ramp it up with that Encroaching Sanity. Deck caps off at 4, yet can like do an insane amount of damage. I'm saying insane a lot because this deck has some insanity going on with it, but yeah, very strong. And I feel like any deck that has Tide Pool Pupil in it is going to be a nerf candidate, because I do not see this card not getting nerfed in the next balance patch. I would be shocked. He is a little too good. And Pain Warlock, still a very effective Warlock deck. Does not run that Tide Pool Pupil, but you got really solid early game. Again, you got your, you know, Malefic Rook to damage yourself and then just get out those Giants and Horrors. I just like that pretty much none of the newer like late game cards that were given to Pain Warlock to set see play, because why would you bother? You get your Giants and all that stuff out super early. I don't care about the late game stuff, and I think the new cards in here are Cursed Souvenir, Party Fiend, and that's really about it. And oh yeah, Fearless Flame Juggler, because it could be like a 2-mana 8/8 or something even bigger, especially Spirit Bomb is ridiculously good. Our Ziliax is the Pylon module and Ticking module. Like, it's been nerfed like twice already, and again, still like auto-include, still super strong. Ziliax, what a perfect card. Priest, I got 2 Priest decks for you guys. I apologize for that. Zarimi Priest still doing really well. Best performing deck at like Diamond through Legend and Legend. There is a better performing deck at High Legend. You'll see it all over the Masters Tour. We'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, just spamming those dragons so you can get that extra turn with Zarimi. Got Sasquatch in there. Still waiting on the Diamond Blizzard. Where is it? And you know, you can replay your Amanthul. You can replay a bunch of stats and do some pretty good stuff. Ziliax has Pylon module, ticking module, but again, it's all about that Zarimi, getting that extra turn, sometimes getting a little bit cheesy with it, and throwing some cheese to kill your opponent. Got Chill and Bulging to play some hunter cards. Primarily, I believe just Fishing Rod. It's the main thing. Just a really good card. I don't even think you run any of the, oh yeah, the Sasquatch. So a couple of hunter cards, but I don't know, they haven't been doing super well. Hence, this is the only real hunter presence we have. Pretty much all of our deck recommendation videos, this entire set. Overheal Priest. This is the more skill-intensive deck, although not super high skill cap, but definitely does a lot better if you play it better, and it centers around Heartbreaker. Adonis can be an OTK type of card when you have like multiple hidden gems and you've copied stuff with Tidepool Pupil, so like your Flash Heals, your Funnel Cakes, another Tidepool Pupil, fan clubs, you know, a lot of healing that you could just murder your opponent with Adonis, and you can always bring it back with Rest in Peace as long as you haven't played Amanthul. But then if you played Amanthul, you get Amanthul back in some matchups. That's absolutely insane. So you can kind of dictate how you go from there, and you can get those random legendaries can be pretty impactful too. It's kind of got a lot of different lines. Definitely not a deck that you're going to pick up and play and crush it with right away. But if you're looking for a more skill heavy deck out there, I suppose it might work out for you. Bulging and Bird Watching are the hunter cards, and yeah, Pupil probably getting nerfed, so this deck probably gets nerfed, but I think it would still be fine even if Pupil was in the deck. It's doing really, really well. The high skill cap deck, the IQ, the hardest deck ever to play. I don't know about that, but Miracle Rogue, I like to call it Hostage Rogue, has kind of taken over High Legend, and this very all types of different builds that run one or two different cards, but the idea is you get your Sonya and you get your two pupils and just start going infinite with it, where you can breakdance them over and over, have infinite copies, and then you could start putting in like Grifta amulets in there. The 1-mana deal 6 basically just will murder your opponent, and you could keep looping it all with the breakdance. It creates a lot of ordering issues and a lot of mana cheat issues. You gotta figure in with Sandbox Scoundrel. The win rate at like when it's played optimally is extremely higher than when it's played poorly. So if you want to try this deck out, it's probably gonna get nerfed, whether it's Pupil and or Sonya. But if you got the cards, you want to try and master this solitaire-ish deck that makes me want to uninstall the game, how dare you? You might want to give it a go, as yeah, it's all over Masters Tour, it's all over High Legend, and it's making me not want to play Ladder. But I'm still going to recommend it, because there are people that enjoy it, and it is very good if you play it well. Unfortunately, Dane's been playing like crazy. He loves it, so at least Dane's got something to enjoy there. Another deck that's been popping up, more Higher Legend, very similar idea, but this is more weapon based, where you have Quick Pick and Mic Drop and your gifts to buff up your weapon with Sonya. This deck isn't built on going infinite though. We don't have Breakdance. It's just all about getting a lot of weapon buffs and killing your opponent that way, because Sonya plus all those 1-mana cards can generate a lot of damage. Air Guitars give you more durability. The win rate at High Legend that I've been looking at lately is actually trending higher for this than it is for the last deck we saw, but this literally emerged like a day or two ago before they even locked in their deck. So this might be the new best deck, but again, it abuses basically Sonya's a broken card. I know I have a million golden in signatures, I know that, but it's a broken card, and it's starting to get a little bit out of hand. For Death Knight, we have 2 decks to recommend. I'm not going to recommend the Triple Blood deck we highlighted yesterday. It's fun. If you want to play that as a control deck, go for it, but there's just a lot better options to play on Ladder. I think that one's Legend capable, but it's gonna be a grind. I think it'll be a little bit easier if you're playing some Rainbow DK. I like Theo came up with this list like day 1 when everything came out, the buffs came out, and it's still arguably the best list. Some people run Yogg instead of Ziliax, but overall, yeah, you just got your Corpsicles for a lot of damage. You get your Horizon's Edge for more damage, Eliza for damage, Buttons for draw, and of course the old Razzle Dazzler to create an insane board state. And Reska is just a busted card and is really good. And yeah, Triple Blood can't play a lot of those cards, hence the deck significantly worse. And this one could actually kill people. Just try to avoid Druid in particular. That one can be pretty darn rough. And Double Frost also doing really well. Again, every deck is built around the Razzle Dazzler. It is such a busted card. You can still run Reska in this deck, But you got the Double Frost cards, a Marrow Manipulator, as well as Horn of Winter. Much more of a basically a burn deck, damage deck, than it is like go wide presence in like the other decks, right? He's got Gorgon Zormu. You do have some tokens, but you don't bother with Eliza. You don't bother with that stuff. You just more about damage. So this deck can pop off a bit more, I feel like, earlier, but probably tails off in the late game a lot harder than the prior version. Hand buff Paladin, probably the Paladin deck of choice. I could recommend aggro Paladin, but I'll stick with hand buff, where yeah, it's all over Masters Tour as well. Of course, it's all about Painter's Virtue, buffing the crap out of your hand. You got some like tech cards in here like Enforcer, Razor Scale, and of course Outfit Tailor can be buffed to hit a charger like Deckhand, to hit your Leroy and murder the opponent. We got Ziliax in here with Power Module, Twin Module, because you just want to double dip on those hand buffs, and Amethyst and Tareem and Senkazel and Mag. They're all great cards. They're all fantastic. And this deck has been good for like forever, it feels like. And well, Evolved Shaman, probably the best Shaman deck. It's funny, Shaman's kind of fallen off a lot since the last patch. It's mainly just Evolved now. I have seen some like Jive decks as well that try and burn people out, but the numbers are like okay on it. It's not amazing. Some people have claimed they broke the meta with it. It's like a 50% deck. It's not that great. But Evolved Shaman still holding up pretty strong. Wave of Nostalgia on a bunch of tokens can be outright game winning. Your Ziliax has your Pylon module, your Ticking module. You play a lot of the good Pirates cards from Demon Hunter, and you buff them up. Bloodlust. You got your Cookie in there that can help you evolve, and Gorgon Zormu to cheese out your opponents, and very much a board-based deck, so pretty good one. Just you have to scam and cheat a bunch of mana, like, you know, most decks these days. We also have Pirate Demon Hunter, not as effective, but this build is more about just pushing out damage, trying to kill people. So you got like Acupuncture, you got Burning Heart, you got a lot more burn, you know, just pure aggro in this deck. We're playing all your early game and just trying to kill your opponent, get through taunts with Kane Sun Fury, and we got Ziliax in here with that Pylon module, Ticking module. One of the lesser of these decks, but still I think legend capable and has some pretty decent numbers to go with it. And the last standard deck we'll recommend, we had a really epic match in our gameplay video against us yesterday. If you watched that, they dealt like 80 damage to us. We still won because we're playing Blood Decay and healed a lot. But yeah, Spell Mage, it's not like top tier, but it is certainly legend capable, high legend capable. And the main strat, besides, you know, playing the good no minion cards in Spot the Difference in Manufacturing Error, is going to Elemental Companion, and you really want to roll Hifar. Hifar makes your spells cost one less, then you just slap your copy cards on it, like your Reverb, and then you can just, all this stuff, just like Druid, goes to 0 mana, and you can just destroy your opponent. You can like put Molten Runes in there, but you gotta roll it, right? And sometimes you don't roll it, and then you lose. So not the most easiest deck to play. You got some extra value with Tide Pools, which can give you more cards like that, more copy cards, and overall, you're looking for a mage deck. This is probably the best one right now. And again, relatively cheap, with I think the only epic being Go with the Flow. And then with Wild, again, Wild doesn't evolve a lot like standard, although I think our lists from this are probably pretty similar to the last week. But yeah, Null Rogue, really good still. Cheat out, you know, your Knolls, your Giants, all that stuff. Play your Twisted Pack. It's just disgusting. This deck's crazy if you high roll early, and it does have late game validity with like your Zeph, your weapons, and sometimes you actually get good stuff off Twisted Pack and you actually play the cards. It happens. What's the blue moon? We also have some more pirates with Pirate Rogue, and people are now catching on, as I thought this card would be good in Wild. Sailboat Captain, now starting to see play. People are literally ditching the 3-mana weapon because it's too slow, and we're going with quick picks and draw and just try and get some pirates on the board. In Sailboat Captain, Cold Blood, and it's Wind Fury, you murder your opponent. It's gotten so aggressive. We're capping out at like 2 mana, basically. It's disgusting. What is happening to this game? And we got even more pirates. This deck's still doing quite well, getting further refined, where we got Ship's Cannon in the mix now with your Magnifying Glaive, 2 quick picks, and Ziliax has got your Pylon Ticking module, and Kurtrus. Really good card. Seeing play now in Pirate Demon Hunter. If you have that old hero card, works pretty well when you're attacking all the time. And then if you have all those tokens on the board with this, you can really ramp up some damage in the late game of you know, turn 6 and 7. That's the ultra fatigue game plan in WoW. But yeah, disgusting pirates. You win or lose pretty quickly, but this deck's trending really, really well. Shadow Priest, of course, super good. Murder your opponent. It's wild, man. It's just wild. Just try and kill your opponent really fast. Cap it out at like 3 mana because Fellwing 0 and Dark Bishop Benedictus is basically another patches. And I got one slower deck to recommend. A Greed Pile in Reno Druid, doing pretty well like every rank bracket, like high legend, diamond through legend. It's a very expensive deck. You got to have a lot of legendaries, but if you happen to have these cards, it seems to be doing pretty well. Winning games, I'm shocked that Rhea Straza would ever make the cut in Wild. I wonder if that's ever correct, but regardless, it's in this list, and it's the best win rate list I could find. So he knows the Virus module and Perfect module, and yeah, that's probably the only way you can play late game in Wild is have a lot of ramp and a billion healing and armor gain, and you'll might manage a 52% win rate or something like that. So there we go. Again, decks to climb within standard and wild. Let me know. Should this be a weekly video thing or keep it to after the patches and maybe like an update every once in a while? Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.